everyone. Let's get started with the opening ceremonies. So, hello. We're about to get started with the opening ceremonies. Let's get the hackathon started. All right. So, do you want to bring the lights? All right. So, I'd like to welcome everyone to the University of Ottawa, and we're going to be doing opening ceremonies. We'll be talking about a lot of things about the hackathon, and the sponsors will be talking as well. So let's get started. So yeah, the general structure for the opening ceremonies, we'll be introducing our sponsors first, and we'll be talking about the hackathon challenges. We'll go into talking about the judging process and the project submission, and then we'll end off with talking about mentors, resources, and the workshops and fun social events we'll be hosting today, or not today, over the next few days. So, thank you, Ming. Without further ado, we'd like to introduce our Prime Minister tier sponsors, Sienna and Canadian Tire. Can we please? Could we please have Irene from Canadian Tire and Jason from Sienna please come? Hi, how's it going? One person. Good, good. Is everybody in here participating in the hackathon today? So, some of you. You don't get to participate anymore, yeah? Who is this? Who's done this in the past? Who's first time on hackathon? First times, second times. Did anybody win last year's hackathon? No? Okay. All right. My name's Jason. I work for Sienna. I've been with the company for about 17, 18 years now. A lifer, I suppose, if you would like to call it. These events are really cool. I wish we had hackathons when I was studying at Carleton. Right? Who's from Carleton? Yeah? All right. Awesome. What other schools? Yell out a couple of schools that are here. I heard Waterloo. I was talking to somebody earlier. No? Waterloo? No? A lot of Ottawa? Is there a lot of Ottawa? Nothing. All right, no Ottawa. Okay. Anyway, really, really glad to be here today. I think the hackathons and these kind of events are super useful for your career, your growth. I know as a hiring manager at Sienna, I've talked to a few people downstairs today who were saying, as a student, how do I get my foot in the door? I have no co-op experience in the past. How do I start my first job? Others I talked to are on their 4th or their 5th co-op term, but you're still participating in this. The most popular answer I gave people today looking to start in software development or whatever it is that you want to start once you graduate, or if you're a student or an intern, is these events right now. Right? Appreciate it's hard to put any experience if you have no experience, even if you have some experience from other companies and other work or internships that you've done in the past. It's these kind of events, hackathons, clubs, activities like this that show you really you love what you do, and you engage in what you do. And ultimately, to me, in years of hiring I've done, it's that kind of experience and interest and hobbyist type work that translates to, I think, careers. And sort of stuff that I look for when bringing in students or graduates into the company or into the workforce. So I think really all I have to say on that topic. Promote Sienna as a business and an opportunity. It's a great culture. It's a great place
to start a career. It's a great place to continue a career from start to finish, or a step on your journey through it. So I wish you luck today. I hope everybody has fun. I hope you brought a pillow because you're here for a long time. I heard there's a really good snack room somewhere downstairs as well. Good luck, and I'll pass the microphone off to Nathan.
Friends don't have friends go to Carleton. Well, I'm not to Ottawa all seriousness, I'm super excited to be here with my colleagues from Canadian Tire. Canadian Tire is a technology company. When I graduated from Ottawa U, I could not imagine that exactly 20 years later, I'll be working at Canadian Tire in tech, which is what I've always wanted and based my career on. It's an amazing technology company. It's an amazing opportunity. The backbone of every giant retailer is technology. So think about that as you find your next jobs. I have one additional tip to Jason of what to do to differentiate yourselves when you graduate. A lot of enterprise companies are really pivoting to Safe Agile. It's not often taught in schools. I don't know if you guys have come across working in Agile or Safe Agile, which is working in Agile and scaling your classes. Think about learning about Agile. Think about having an Agile certification as you graduate. It differentiates you. It lets your employers know this candidate is going to know what they're doing when they come on board. They're going to know the team ceremonies. They're going to know how to work. They're going to know how to develop in parallel with other teams. It's super powerful. I highly recommend it. One more thing I want to say about Canadian Tire, our brand is making life in Canada better. Our challenge, which my colleague Greg is going to talk about shortly, all has to do with making life of employees of Canadian Tire better, also in Canada. So think about doing the challenge. Think about a life in tech with Canadian Tire. We're a big retailer. All companies are tech companies now. Good luck.
Next up, we'd like to take the opportunity to bring on our premier tier sponsors to the stage. We'll do these ones one by one, although they will be quite quick. First, we'd like to bring up Maddie from BlackBerry.
Awesome. Hi everybody, my name is Maddie Wibbs. I am the Talent Acquisition Manager for the University of Colleges program at BlackBerry. So we are here today talking about summer intern and co-op opportunities. We've got over 180 open for the summer. So shameless pitch here. We are downstairs if you want to talk to us. And thank you so much for having us. We're really happy to be here.
Woo!
All right, thank you, Maddie, and thank you, BlackBerry. Next up, we'd like to invite Ali from Lone Haven.
Woo!
Hey everyone, my name is Ali Bangu, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer at Lone Haven Creative Studios. So we're a multimedia digital marketing agency based in Ottawa and Toronto. We're actually founded by alumni and current students. So as you can see throughout this event, all the photography and audio-visual interfaces and infrastructure have been developed by us, and you can find our cameraman roaming around and drop by our photo booth on the first floor, I believe, and get some dope group photos with your entire team.
Yeah.
I hope everyone has a great weekend and happy hacking.
All right, thank you, Ali. Last but not least, we'd like to invite up Adam from CSE.
I kind of wish I was out in Lone Haven right now. Just a quick poll here. I always like to ask this when I come to hackathons or career fairs or any kind of events. How many people have heard of CSE here today? Hands up.
I work in
Okay,
defense,
well,
so.
I met a lot of you before this, so that's kind of true. But outside of that, yes, as you can see here, we are the most important organization that you've never heard of. We're a federal government agency, a top secret organization that focuses in foreign signals intelligence and cybersecurity. We're here to recruit students and professionals. If you want to learn more about these opportunities, please swing by our booth. We will also have a workshop tomorrow. I think we're at 5 p.m. I can promise you it will be entertaining. I'll do my best to put on a show. We also have a technical expert coming with us to talk about some of our operating systems. So please do swing by our booth and good luck with the hackathon.
All right, thank you so much to BlackBerry, Lone Haven, and CSE.
Last but not least, we'd like to thank a whole ton of our in-kind sponsors. Listed above on the presentation screen, we have been given a lot of resources from the following companies, such as Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, Echo 3D, Balsamic, VoiceFlow, and Vercel. To get details about accessing these services and tools provided, please read the hacker resources in the Tracker app that our development team has developed.
Alright, so aside from our awesome sponsors who make this event possible, we have a lot of collaborators on campus from both U Ottawa and Carleton. So going through them, we have our Women in Engineering, IEEE U Ottawa, CISA, which is the Software Engineering Student Association, CSSA, the Computer Science Student Association, ESS, which is our Engineering Student Society, the Game Dev Club at U Ottawa, and last but not least, the Center for Entrepreneurship and Design, C. So these collaborators will be running events, and they've helped a lot with organizing this event and making it possible as well. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about how this hackathon is going to happen, I guess. So we have a few places you can be working on your projects throughout the weekend. Those buildings being CRX, which is the building you're currently in, and STEM. So CRX is going to be open 24 hours throughout the entire event, but STEM will only be open during sort of daytime hours. And CRX is sort of like our main building that will be running most events in. There will be a few events being run by the Makerspace and the people at C in the STEM building. Things like 3D printing and laser cutting will be done there. And here are socials. Most of you guys are already following it, which is great. So that concludes all of the sponsor introductions. Next thing we're going to be talking about is the hackathon challenges. So these challenges have yet to be announced. We're about to announce them now. And those, all right, I guess we're going to talk first about all the things that will be happening over the next 36 hours before we jump in to these challenges. So we'll be having several sponsored workshops from Canadian Tire, Sienna, and CSE. We'll be having some workshops hosted by us and the folks at Maker Jam. And we'll be having fun socials throughout the entire event. All of these events can be found on our schedule. And near the end of the event, we'll be having our hackathon project judging session. So the schedule for judging will be posted after project submission, which I will talk about later in the presentation as well. So other than that, we are providing free meals, snacks throughout the entire event, and the career fair and networking that's happening downstairs that most of you have already been to and will be going to as well. All right, so as mentioned before, all these fun events can be found on our Hacker Tracker app in the schedule page. So if you're wondering where they are and what time they are at, you can take a look at this page and it'll tell you all the information you need. All right, so now we can get started with talking about the competition. I'm assuming most of you guys are here to compete in the hackathon, and we'll be presenting some really important information in these slides. So please do make sure that you understand what's happening with these with the competition. These slides will be shared after the opening ceremonies for you to review afterwards. So the first thing that's really important is hacking starts at 9 p.m. and ends on Sunday 9 a.m. And by Sunday 9 a.m. you have to have your project submitted in order to be in the running for judging. And all projects must be submitted on DevPost with links to your GitHubs where the code should be hosted. The GitHub is really important as we will be checking through the GitHub commits to make sure that all the code was written during this event. So before we get into challenges, quick competition rules. These competition rules are fairly similar to all the other hackathons you might have been to. You're not allowed to start your project prior to today 9 p.m. No code should be written at this time. All the teams should stop programming and submit their project by 9 a.m. on the Sunday. Small fixes to the code are allowed afterwards, but no new features should be added afterwards. Plagiarism will be disqualified, and you are allowed to use open source libraries and open source code to build your project. And we have a few more rules to go through. Teams can submit their project under multiple themes if they fall under multiple, but you can really only win one prize. Your team can have up to 4 people unless otherwise specified. So there is one challenge that we will be talking about that allows 6 people to be within a team. And most challenges do not have a minimum requirement for teams, for the number of people that could be in the team, so you can't compete by yourself. But there are some challenges that we will be going through that require at least 2 or 3 people. And make sure all your projects fall under the code of conduct. So that's about all the rules. All right, so let's finally get into the challenges. So we have several main challenges and followed by several side quests. So the main challenges is where most of the prize pool is at. We have the first challenge being network security. This is presented by Sienna. We have retail experience presented by Canadian Tire. And we have the Game Jam and Makercon presented by Maker Jam. And the side quests. So what the side quests are just smaller smaller challenges that you can add to the main challenges. Or you can compete in them sort of standalone as well. And those side quests are cybersecurity, so any project related to cybersecurity would fall under this side quest. User experience, so this would be like the best user experience, best user interface. Developer experience, so best developer tools and sort of software for developer-oriented use. And the last one being best use of Google Cloud. So to quickly go over the prizes, network security presented by Sienna and retail experience have a first, second, and third prize. Those being $1,000, $750, and then $250. And the Maker Jam and Makercon have first and second prizes, those being $1,750. The side quests also have monetary values, but they are a lot less than the main challenges. So we really do encourage you to work on the main challenges and consider the side quests as nice add-ons to your existing project. All right, so first we're going to start off with explaining Sienna's network security challenge. I'll be explaining it on behalf of Sienna. So although there is a lot of text here, please don't be intimidated. There's just a lot of requirements that they want and things they want to see. None of it's super difficult. A lot of it you can learn within 36 hours. So the challenge you're being presented is create a secure application that leverages data encryption to prevent possible security risks. So in this project, the main requirement that Sienna would like to see is that all your data that you're transferring over a network, whether that be the internet or some other network, it needs to be encrypted, and the encryption needs to be at least 256 bits. So that is the only requirement for this challenge. Things you can build in this challenge include a live streaming platform, a messaging app, a web app, anything connected to a network. So that could be a web page as well. And during judging, Sienna will be looking at very specific things. So it would be nice if you explain them during your presentation and include it in documentation as well. So those being network performance metrics, network bottlenecks, and potential security vulnerabilities. So this is mostly what Sienna is looking for. Sienna does have a couple sort of bonus points. So if you think that your project can add more things to it, then you could potentially consider these bonus points to give you an advantage during competition. So I won't go through all of them, but the main thing is if you so bonus points will be awarded for the consideration and implementation of the following. So with these bonus points, you don't have to implement them. If you explain how your app and design integrates them and might have these features, you will also get points, but obviously not as many points as an implementation. So those being potential network attacks, potential loss of communication, multi-host networking, and developing a custom encryption algorithm. And you can also include redundancies for potential network attacks, develop and collect performance metrics for the packet transportation. So by metrics, we mean things, basically how well is the system doing? Can that be displayed? and for the developers and for the customer. So these are all bonus points, they're not requirements, but they are very good to include in your projects that you'll be creating over the next 36 hours. So now I'd like to welcome Greg from Canadian Tire. He will be going through the Canadian Tire Challenge and be explaining the awesome challenge they have planned for this weekend.
Great.
You want to hold it a little bit closer?
A little bit closer? There we
Yep,
go.
perfect.
Awesome. So in true hackathon style, we've been working on this scenario and changed it up a little bit 3 hours before the event. So that might work for your code, it might not, but if you want to throw away everything you did and submit something else a few hours before, go for it. But yeah, I'll just read through it. So technology has evolved and it's made its way into every aspect of Canadian Tire store operations. So there isn't a department within Canadian Tire stores that does not rely on technology for their day-to-day operations. A typical store employee can use up to 10 to 20 applications throughout their work week to complete their work. So examples of that would be our inventory management, point of sale, accounting software, human resources, facilities management, and many others. And so many of these applications have their own dashboards and tasks, and they each have their own dashboards and tasks that are outstanding. And which means that store staff today have to log into many different applications to understand what their outstanding work is. And there's also many different ways that their tasks are emailed. So, and often those can end up as junk emails or just too overwhelming to look at. So, and to make that even worse, there are options like Teams, Slack, email, video chat, telephone communications, and lots of different ways where additional work can be assigned. So it's been, this increase in technology connectivity is making it hard for our stores to ensure what the most important work is and to make sure that the work is done at the right time. And it's also making it difficult to effectively plan to the future as well. So your challenge, I'll give you one hint to what technology stack we use at Canadian Tire for store operations. So we'd like to focus in on the Microsoft stack, but you'll see in a bit that we can consider other options as well. But the goal is enable non-Microsoft applications to publish tasks, information, and communications to an individual. Consider how users can subscribe only to content and tasks that are relevant. Consider how management or peers can assign tasks to a user. Provide a simple view of all the information. And ensure there's appropriate level of reporting and escalations. And provide as much customization to the individual as possible, enabling a personalized experience. So consider these your requirements that you're going to be judged on. And also on top of that, be prepared to talk to the feasibility of your idea, including all the key benefits. So a bit more information, so I think this is going to be provided, but there are a lot of different technologies that are available. Of course, the Microsoft 365 platform is one of them. People can set up a sandbox environment using the link provided. Yeah, other technologies can be used in conjunction. So good luck, and that's our scenario.
Next, we'll be talking about the Game Jam challenge that we have that's presented by Maker Jam. So I'd like to welcome Thomas. He's a professor at the Faculty of Law, and he'll be explaining this challenge.
So yeah, I'm a law professor at the Faculty of Law at the University of Ottawa. I'm also with the Center for Environmental Law and Global Sustainability. So today we are presenting you the Game Jam. And as you can imagine, I'll give you the topic very soon. It will be around the environment, but first some logistical points. So The challenge will be limited to 15 teams, so I believe we still have room, so you will need to come to us and like register your team or maybe join another team to be able to participate to the game jam. And the teams will be, sorry, we are the exception, I feel very bad now, like 3 to 6 people, and we highly encourage you to team up with people from different faculties. We have some lawyers today, we have some people from Telfer, science, engineering. I see some people like making weird eyes when I said lawyers. But here we have lawyers, so I encourage you to team up like with different people from different faculties. What makes your game even better, I feel. And it will be an in-person only challenge. So the topic of the year of this event will be ecological crisis. So as I'm sure you are all aware, our societies are facing many ecological crises. Climate change, biodiversity erosion, water pollution, pollution of the soils as well. So many ecological crises. Through your games, we ask you to reflect on the causes and the consequences of this ecological crisis. Like discuss these causes, these consequences, to explore these causes and consequences, and we also encourage you to reflect on the solutions to this ecological crisis. You can build any kind of game. Could be a digital game, could be a board game, we don't care. You can do whatever you want, and I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it actually.
I just want to mention something that's important. The Game Jam and the Makercon challenges are limited with the number of teams that can sign up. However, the Sienna and Canadian Tire challenges are not limited. So as many teams can compete in those 2 challenges, but not Maker Jam, or not the Game Jam and the Makercon. So the last main challenge is the Makercon. Justine, would you like to explain it?
Thank you. So hello everyone. So I'm Justine. I'm one of the managers of Seed. And so Makercon is basically a make-a-thon, making hackathon type of thing. So like Ming just said, a few specifications here, that we do have a limit on the number of teams who can sign up. So we'll be asking the teams who would like to participate in these challenges just to tell us who you are. In this case, we have 2 to 4 people who can participate within this challenge. So as part of our challenge, the way that this works is that we have many sort of little projects. So within Makercon, all of these projects qualify, they're all under the same thing, and you would sort of be competing against all of the other people working on the different little challenges in there. I have 2 people with me here today who are going to explain 2 of them, and then I will explain the 2 others. So Lydia, would you like to come up first?
So hi everyone, my name is Lydia Wong. I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Ottawa, and I study bees and wasps and how climate change affects them. I could tell you a lot about bees and wasps. They're gentle. Most species don't want to sting us. Most species don't make honey. There are ones that are as big as our thumbs. Most of them are smaller than your fingernail. And those are the ones I want to talk about today, because as part of my work, I try to sample and look for patterns in how the number of bees are changing. And I try to do this without killing the bees. So a lot of researchers actually have to kill the bees that they study because we can't figure out what species they are unless we stick them underneath a microscope. I try to do it differently by taking photos of bees I see in the field. And that's pretty easy if you got a big bumblebee, but if you have a really tiny bee that's flying around inside my jar, like up there, you end up with really fuzzy photos of things that you can't identify. And so what I'm hoping that someone can help me with is to have some kind of device that has like a platform that can lower, and then I can take a photo of these bees in a smaller space. So it will keep the bee from running around and going everywhere, so I can take a photo of it. So that's my work. Kind of a side thing that I also do, which isn't here. I don't have a photo of it. But one thing I'm really passionate about is conserving paper. I think it's something we can do as good people taking care of trees. I made this notebook out of paper that I pick up from the recycling bin from Morrisett Library. And it's made out of paper that is good on one side. And so I always spend a whole bunch of time in the printing room taking out pieces of paper that have nothing on one side. And so if you can design something that will automatically do that so I don't have to sit there, that'd be really cool.
Please.
Okay, all right, that does work. I don't use one of these things very often. Hello, my name is Kate. I am mostly blind. I love things that are colorful, but I'm very bad at seeing the colors. So what I'm looking for is an app or device, whatever works best, that can tell me the color of things. There are some apps that do that nowadays, but they're not very good when you get to either very light colors, pale yellow, pale blue, pale green. They all kind of register as white or gray, or very dark colors, dark reds, dark blues, dark greens, all kind of come out black. And so I'd like something that will tell me what color things are accurately, no matter whether they're light colors or dark colors or something in between. Bonus if they can tell me more information about the colors, so the difference between a dark red, a light red orange, a blood orange, which is also I think a red orange, I'm not quite sure, the whole color blindness thing, so that I can get some more information about the colors beyond just red, orange, yellow, green, blue, because obviously most colors are some combination of those, and I would like to be able to have that information, so when I'm choosing my clothes or working on projects, and I can know what colors things are and not get brown and blue mixed up again. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Lydia and Kate. So those were our two first projects. I'll talk about the two other projects. I also have some videos of our clients talking about these ones. So if you guys do want to work on those, we'll give you access to these videos. They explain the projects much better than I can. But the first one is improving recycling on campus. So the Office of Sustainability on campus, they are looking for a way to help people recycle. And so obviously there's lots of people on campus, lots of students, lots of staff, and they have sort of these generic recycling bins or garbage bins, as I'm sure you've all seen around campus. And one of the problems is that these don't address sort of the more specific garbage type items that can very easily be recycled. And so what they're looking for is something to do with pens and something to do with batteries. So there are existing solutions for this on campus, but they don't work so well and they're not very well advertised to people. And so the challenge here is really to come up with these recycling bins that will be sort of thematically shaped, that will be aware, or that people will be aware of them, that people will also properly dispose of batteries, because that's something that batteries need to be put in like a little baggie before you can put them to be recycled. And so essentially just improving this process altogether with the goal that the campus has of becoming sort of net zero by 2050. And so they're really trying to get this achieved. So that is the Improving Recycling on Campus project. Now, the fourth project is a voice-activated chair remote. So if you have ever, sat in one of those like lazy chairs, any like reclining chair, some of those are manual, where you just sort of like lean back and the chair goes back. But a lot of these chairs also come with remotes, where you hit, forward and backwards to sort of bring the chair up and down. This is also the same thing for hospital beds, for example. So there are buttons, there's a little remote where there are buttons, you press up and down for the bed to go up and down sort of thing. So what this project is, there's a lot of people who have disabilities who are not able to actually push those buttons. Or they don't have the mobility to either do that, or there's some reason why they can't push those buttons themselves. So what we're looking for here is really a device or something that would be an attachment to the existing remote of any of these chairs or beds or any of these things, and it would be able to be activated by voice. So a lot of these people, they have no issues, speaking and being able to control things with voice. Anything that you have, your smartphones, you can control a lot of things by voice now. But basically having an option of controlling this specific remote by voice is what we're looking for here. So those are our 4 challenges that fall under Makercon.
All right, so those are all the main challenges that you see. There's a good variety of different main challenges. So you don't necessarily have to be working purely software. If you'd like to build something, you could go with Makercon and build something with hardware. But if you prefer to work on purely software, we have Canadian Tire and CNS Challenge, where we're doing retail experience and cybersecurity. So the last things I'm going to mention when it comes to challenges is the side quests. These are our smaller challenges. We do encourage you to add them on to the existing main challenges. So those side quests being best user experience, best developer experience, best cybersecurity project, and best use of Google Cloud. So these are all fairly straightforward, so I won't go through everything. So that wraps up the hackathon challenges. Now I'll be talking about the judging and project submission. So all of the projects will be submitted to DevPost. DevPost is a website to host sort of like an article that talks about your projects, links, and you can put some videos and photos of the project. And you should have your project submitted to DevPost by 9 a.m. EST, Sunday, March 5th. So late submissions will not be accepted, so please do try to not leave this for last minute. Have it in maybe a few minutes earlier if possible. But we do understand that things can get really hectic with the hackathon since it's only 36 hours. And when submitting for a project, you can select as many challenges, as many side quest challenges as you like to be considered for prizes. In your dev post, as mentioned before, you should have your GitHub repo, if there is any code, so that the commits for the GitHub can be reviewed, just to make sure that there was no plagiarism involved. And the last thing that's really important, since we are a hybrid hackathon, we do have people who are competing virtually and in person. So in the dev post, we will have tags for you to indicate what your team status is, whether you guys are all in person, all virtual, or hybrid. And this will affect how the things are judged, which I will explain shortly as well. So when it comes to project judging, you will have sort of a 10-minute time slot to show up. The schedule for when your time slot will be made public after the dev post submissions are all in. So roughly 9:30 on Sunday, there should be a schedule that's posted on our social media and Discord. And the general structure of all these judging for all the different challenges include 1 to 2 minutes to set up if you have a PowerPoint or a demo, and then a 5-minute presentation. So this 5-minute presentation, we will be cutting you off exactly at 5 minutes, just to make sure that all the teams get enough time to present. And after the 5 minutes, there will be a quick 2-minute questionnaire session from the judges. And if you aren't available to make it in time for your judging time slot, we will just be looking at the dev post to judge your project. So since we do have online and in-person judging, I'll be talking about them. So for in-person judging, this will be done from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the Sunday. And as mentioned before, the time slots with the schedule will be posted around 9:30 on the Sunday. And hybrid teams, so if you have team members who couldn't make it in person, so your team would be considered hybrid, These will default to in-person judging. You will be responsible to get your teammates on a Zoom call or something and have them sort of be present on the laptop for the in-person judging. And for online judging, if you're joining us on Twitch virtually, the judging will be done through Zoom. The Zoom link will be put very soon in our Discord. And when you do join the Zoom, please name yourself first name, last name, with the project name from the dev post. This is so that the organizers can move you to the specific break group that you're supposed to be in so that we can get judging to happen. So yeah, one last important reminder is do indicate whether your project is in person or online on DevPost. This helps a lot with figuring out the schedule right after the project submission closes. All right, and the judging criteria. So I won't be going through the judging criteria in this presentation, but they are online in our Hacker resources, which we'll be publishing very soon, shortly after opening ceremonies. And some projects, some challenges have different judging criteria, so please do take a look before you start your project to see what the judges would be looking for in your project. So that wraps up judging and project submission. If you do have any questions, we will be having a dev post workshop on the Sunday morning to go through this entire process live so that you guys can get that done before the 9 a.m. submission deadline. So we'll be talking about quickly mentors and resources to help you with your projects. So all this information, including the slideshow, will be put on our Hacker resource page as well as in Discord. As you might have seen before, the challenges do have a wide range. So if you are interested in using hardware for a project, we are providing free hardware for everyone. So we do have like Arduinos and sensors if you're interested in the Makercon project or you want to add hardware to the other challenges. So to learn more about how you can get your hands on this free hardware, you can attend our hardware and embedded workshop today at 10:30. And we are giving out Arduinos in this workshop if you want to use them. All right, so we're almost done with the opening ceremonies. So if you could just bear with me for a few more minutes and then you guys can get started on your project. So mentors will be available throughout the event, in person and online. So if you have a question that you want to ask, you can put it in our Discord in the question channel, or you can go in person to CRX C408 to ask a question in person. So last few slides, those being the workshops. So we do have a lot of workshops happening. Those being hardware workshops, a Unity workshop that's happening tonight as well, a web dev workshop that's happening tomorrow, game controller. So if you would like to build your own game controller for your projects, you can attend this workshop, and we'll be walking through how to do that as well. In addition to the sponsored workshops from Sienna, CSC, and Canadian Tire. So I'd like to invite Steven to speak about the fun social events. The hackathon is not about just working on your project. We'll be having some fun as well.
All right, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Some of you may recognize me from the community events that we had. I'm Steven, I'm the community director. And so, let's see. I just got into the room. Okay. So, do we mind just quieting down, please? It's a little bit loud. Okay, thank you. Okay. So planned by our wonderful community team, we have some exciting social events planned for you all this weekend. You can find a list of all the events that we're hosting on this slide over here. More details regarding the social events can be found under our schedule at tracker.hackthehill.com. Details such as the location and time of each of the events. Do you guys see any events that interest you by any chance? Beyblades! Beyblades, yeah, that's a good one. Karaoke. What about the Ottawa Senators? The watch parties, the Sens? Anyone excited for that? Yeah? I forget you guys are all CS students, so you guys probably don't care about it. Okay. So of course, attendance for these events is optional. And so a little bit more about our scavenger hunt that's going to be happening soon, starting at 10 p.m. And so it'll be ongoing throughout the hackathon up until we find ourselves a winning team. We ask that you all please don't remove any items from the scavenger hunt. The scavenger hunt, once again, will start at 10 p.m. and both the Google form to submit your photos will be up on the tracker app. Please keep in mind that we need you guys to upload your photos in order for you to win. But we do have also prizes for these events as well. And so for No Light, for the winner for that, there's a $25 gift card for Amazon. And then for the scavenger hunt, there's a $100 prize pool as well for that. $25 for each of the team members. And we hope to see you all at our social events.
All right, so we're almost done with this. This is the last slide. So you guys can get started on hacking very, very soon. So if you are still looking for a team, you can head over to CRXC309 and SEM117 to find a teammate for the hackathon. And the next workshop that will be happening is the hardware workshop that is happening at 10:30 in CRX 040. So I hope to see everyone there who's interested in doing hardware. Thank you and happy hacking.